A settlement of $650 million has been reached in a lawsuit against the drug Pradaxa. Many people right here in Middle Tennessee have been affected, and the Higgins Firm has helped them through the process. Attorney Jim Higgins with the Higgins Firm recently stopped by to explain. Jim, great to have you back.
Thanks.
All right, so hundreds of people in the state have filed these cases. So talk a little bit about these allegations. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we had several clients involved in these cases, and across the country there are about 1,600 people in all impacted. But Pradaxa was a drug, and it's still on the market, that was really an alternative blood thinner. We've been using the same blood thinners in this country for about 60 years. And Pradaxa came out, and it had some great benefits over the other blood thinners. One being it's really fast acting, but there were some drawbacks, we believe, and that's what we addressed in this litigation. And the big drawback of Pradaxa was that there is no antidote. So if somebody would get a bleed, there were several people that passed away because the bleed becomes uncontrollable. And there are doctors that had testified in these cases who said, you know, they felt helpless because they would have a patient bleeding out and they couldn't do anything about it. Whereas Warfarin, the historical blood thinner we use, you can use a vitamin K to help thicken that up, and there's an antidote to stop it.
Right.
There's drawbacks to that, just like there were to Pradaxa. But the big issue in the case was, did the company know about these problems, and did they hide it? And we believe, and part of the settlement, the $650 million settlement there was evidence that they did, and as with any settlement, they're still denying liability, but it's going to happen, it appears, and it's going to help some of these people who either had suffered some really horrific injuries from this drug or maybe lost someone.
Right, really tough situation for them. So what does it mean for these victims, though? Will they be compensated sooner than later?
Well, what happens when we have what we call a multi-district lawsuit like this, when there's a massive settlement, is there'll be what we call a matrix made, and it will say, all right, if you had a family member that died, or if you had this injury, or depending on what your damages were, you'll get so much from that settlement. So now once the settlement will have to be finalized, and we'll have to figure out a fair way to distribute that among some of these victims.
Now, what should someone do if they're watching today and they feel like either they experienced injuries because of Pradaxa or know somebody that has? What should they do?
Well, the injury that they should look out for is a stroke or a bleed. Somebody died while on that, then they should call our office. I mean, and they should do so quickly. The timer is running out on these cases. And if they had these significant life-changing injuries or lost someone, then there may be some compensation available to them, because that's also, with that emotional loss, comes a financial loss usually.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, thanks so much. Great info.
Thank you.
The Higgins Firm is serving Tennessee. Give them a call at 615-924-8500, or for more info, go to higginsfirm.com.